House on the Prairie is one of those shows that has countless lovable characters that keep us coming back to the show again and again. But what about the people who only make one appearance? We see many episodes revolve around a character, only for them to be gone by the next episode. But that doesn't mean we didn't love them, and in some cases, wish they'd stuck around a little bit longer. For this video, I will be talking about my top 20 Little House on the Prairie characters who sadly only make the one appearance. Just to clarify, I will also be counting the few that appeared in two-part episodes. 20 is a tall order, so hurry up me. 20. Elmer Dobkins. I always have a soft spot for the children that are subjected to bullying, and he is no exception. He's one of the more pleasant children, yet the other boys see him as a walking target. It's pretty gross what kids will do to each other. How can you not like this character? He goes out of his way to help wounded animals in his free time, no matter the species. I'm glad he was ultimately elected class president after his speech. It really is a shame we never get to see him again. 19. Isaac Singerman. The rumors that went around about this character were nothing short of grotesque. He was a sweet man and a master craftsman. I am so happy Albert got to spend time bonding with him before his death. The elderly are to be treasured and can teach anyone a great deal of skills. This one character definitely had a positive impact on those who actually bothered to get to know him without their prejudices getting in the way. Seriously, devil horns under his hat? Who comes up with these things? 18. Tinker Jones. We first see him selling cookware for exceptionally cheap prices, and then giving free toys to the Ingalls children. He's the one that has the idea for him and the children to create the new church bell together, so all the bickering between the adults stops. Tinker is clearly a selfless person who cares more about people than he does about status and money. I literally can't believe we didn't get to see him again. What a ripoff. 17. Mortimer Carstairs. This guy is awesome. He's such a good friend to Laura, who is a literal stranger. He gives her advice when Eliza Jane is in a snit, buys her school books and asks for nothing except for her to put them to good use, comes to her defense when the professor gives Laura a bad grade because she had rejected him, and even fought for her honor. He's a straight flush of a great man, and anyone would be lucky to end up with him. 16. Annabelle Oleson. She brings so much joy to those around her, even though she suffered scrutiny for her size from her own family. She's quite pleasant and seems great with children. All the circus performers love her like she is family, and she is so quick to forgive Nels for mistreating her, and she even hugs him when he introduces her as his sister. I loved this episode. 15. Peter Lundstrom. He doesn't start out so great, but we learn it is just attention-seeking behavior because he's brushed aside in all instances. Once he found the love and attention he desperately needed in the Ingalls family, he becomes a sweet boy who is ecstatic he has learned a new skill, swimming. He is so unknown by his own parent, he hadn't realized he couldn't swim and completely dashed Peter's excitement. This kid needs about 7,000 hugs to make up for lost time. 14. John Bevins. The fact that he spends his time fixing things for the blind school for meager payment already earns him a spot on this list. He has such a delightful personality and hand makes beaded necklaces to give to people he cares extra for, including Mary and Sue. He is another character that everyone would love to be friends with if their lame prejudices weren't getting in the way of rational thought. 13. Elizabeth Thurman. I thought this woman was beautiful. She was an elegant, proper woman who was left in a house all on her own, but she still has a sunny personality regardless of being widowed so young. I know Mary and Laura were afraid of their father falling for her, but Miss Thurman makes no such advances. She was just keeping a secret so the dishes would remain a surprise. 12. Julia Sanderson. This woman faces her illness and death with such grace and bravery. Her strength was really quite powerful and admirable. We never see her lamenting over time that would never be hers, and she goes out of her way to give her children more memories of her smiling and laughing before her unfortunate end. 11. Ruthy Leland. The relationship between Ruthy and Jason is so heartwarming. She is nice enough to give little Jason a chance at working for her, and he impresses her. The two laugh together and grow quite fond of each other very quickly. It is very sweet. He gave her a wonderful last summer, and he'll always have the fly fishing set they bonded over to remember her by. Yet another lovely character taken way too soon. 10. Solomon Henry. Solomon just wants to go to school so he can learn to read, write, and anything else he can put his mind to. The poor kid wants opportunity, but it is yanked out from under him at every corner. It is very heartbreaking. His emotional intelligence surpasses many that have made an appearance on this show, and I wish his family had moved to Walnut Grove so he could continue his studies. But no such thing happens, leaving us with yet another tear-filled goodbye. 9. Molly Reardon. Molly was a beautiful woman. I mean, I was practically smitten by her mannerisms. She is so sweet, upbeat, and fun. Some may knock her for getting too friendly with Nels, but the poor woman didn't know he was married. All she knew was she found a nice man that she thought she could have real feelings for. She looked so sad once he came clean and left. I hope she managed to find a good man that deserved her. She would be a real catch. 8. Graham Stewart. I don't think they could have found a more adorable boy to play this character. He deserved absolutely none of what happened to him, but despite all of that, he still doesn't want to lose his father, who brings him all of this pain and suffering. Could he be more forgiving? I am glad the Ingalls took him in while Charles helped sober up the father. They treated him with love and respect, and it was nice to see him smiling and happy. Hopefully, he was no longer the child of pain afterward. 7. Olga Nordstrom. Olga was so cute. She was excited to make a friend, even if it was just because Laura hurt her ankle and had to sit with her. I understand why her father was so scared and overprotective to a point. He just didn't want her to be disappointed if the special shoe didn't work. Luckily, it did. Olga finally getting to play with the rest of the kids while her father becomes emotional is a heartwarming moment I love watching every single time. 6. Elmer Miles. I thought Elmer was a really good boy, even if he did like probably one of the most hated characters, Nancy. He went out of his way to do everything for her, and she exploited that kindness. She didn't even like him, and had the audacity to tell him that nobody would be able to notice the few pounds he had lost because he was just too big. Watching him finally stand up for himself while simultaneously continuing his health regimen is nothing short of inspirational. Good for you, Elmer. 5. Kate Thorvald. I am actually very disappointed she ended up leaving. I loved her and Dr. Baker being together. He is such a nice man who deserves a nice woman, and Kate was exactly that. She was so smitten with him almost immediately, and I can't say I blame her. It's no wonder she was able to look past the age gap for so long. But unfortunately, she ended up being convinced otherwise, and the two did part ways. Not only was Kate a total sweetheart, but she would have made a wonderful addition to the cast. 4. Ginny Clark. This poor girl is totally ignored by her frigid mother, and it is a hard watch. Ginny just wants her mom to come see her in a play. That is such a small thing to ask, and her mother shoots her down and comes up with a terrible excuse that she hasn't a dress to wear. Ginny cuts off all her hair and sells it to buy her mother a dress so she will come to her play. And when she presents her with the new dress, she gets angry and doesn't believe it came from her. I'm glad the mother feels like a piece of crap at the end when Jenny's hair is revealed. This woman did not deserve the nice man that was pursuing her, but at least Jenny gets to have him too, I guess. 3. Anna GILLBERG. I really loved Anna. She was so sweet, and all she wanted was to be someone's friend. She was an outcast simply because she had a stutter, which is an absolutely ridiculous thing to exclude someone over, and it makes me very angry on a personal level. Watching her be humiliated while trying to say a tongue twister as a large group of girls just sat there giggling and not coming to her defense boils my blood, because it is exactly what schoolgirls do. I know Laura was being blackmailed, but I am Team Mary in this episode. She was absolutely disgusted with everyone because of their treatment of Anna, and I was right there with her. I'm glad Nellie gets the belt at the end. 2. Amy Hearn. This woman was completely abandoned by her children in her old age, and so was her friend that she watched basically die of disappointment and loneliness. I don't blame her whatsoever for faking her death so her ungrateful children would finally come visit her. I'm also sickened by the harsh reality that she is right. People will bend over backward to attend a funeral, but not a birthday, under the pretense that there will be more. This episode teaches a valuable lesson. Your loved ones need you now, not when they are dead and buried. 1. Sylvia Webb. This poor girl deserved so much better. Her storyline is absolutely heartbreaking, and I can understand why so many people skip this episode because it is very painful to watch. Sylvia was nothing but nice. She was a beautiful girl who had a world of hurt thrust upon her, and she caught the blame for men failing to conduct themselves responsibly in her presence. It was a sick episode that deals with sexual assault, victim blaming, and death. I loved this character, and I really wish someone could have protected her from her father and that disgusting pedophile that ruined her life and ended up being the cause of her death. Well, that's more than enough out of me for one day. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. TTFN.